I will not be pushed, filed, stamped, indexed, briefed, debriefed, or numbered. My life is my own.
Don't know if this is possible. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I want to move to a cabin out in the middle of the woods. I think it would be so awesome. How the hell do I get to a cabin in the middle of the woods? Hmm. 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 Well, I got a hammer, or at least a handle for a hammer, anyway. I got a little mini cabin. It's probably too small to sleep in. I don't know. I might find some cabins in here. Grimm's Fairy Tales. Great book. I'm sure there's a variety of different cabins in here. I don't think I'm going to be able to inhabit any of them, though. Maybe there's a cabin in here. Ooh, cigarette ad, cigarette ad, cigarette ad. Ooh, cigarette ad, alcohol ad, alcohol ad. What's this? Here's a cabin. Oh my goodness. That thing is very overgrown. All jokes aside, have you ever wanted to live out in the middle of the woods by yourself? Just get away from society. Build yourself a little cabin in the middle of nowhere where you can just escape society. I sure have. And when I say that, of course, I don't really assume that all of you have, because I know a lot of people are city dwellers. They have no intention of leaving the city. I've gone camping with people who can't stand the bugs, they can't stand the cold, the dirt, whatever it might be that bothers them. For me, I'm willing to overlook all that just to be at one and in nature, because to me, it's where I feel whole, complete, if you will. Now, I've grown up in the suburbs, if you will, in the city area, enough to where I realize that there are certain facets of being in the city that are beneficial. Being able to access groceries, being able to interact with people, go to community events, concerts, things like that. But it doesn't mean that we can't still enjoy those things and live just far enough away from society where we can feel isolated. Now, as an individual, this might be easier to do. But when you have a family, it's a completely different story. So my youngest kids, being 7 and 10, are now at the ages where within a few years we could move up and live in a place like that if we wanted to. My wife and I have been looking for land, and I am fairly determined that within the next couple of years we will buy a piece of land. We don't have a lot to spend, and most people, when you buy land, they're not going to give you credit on it or making payments. It's the kind of thing where you pay it outright. And I figure if we start looking now, we'll get lucky. You know, when I wanted to find my school bus, you know, my wife, I'd always wanted a bus. So did my wife. And so she was the inspiration. She kept looking, and we started looking for like 6 months and finally found one, bought it, remodeled it. Now we take it on trips and love it. It's something that we accomplished. And this coming summer, we're planning to take it on a little journey for part of the summer, and perhaps broken up into segments. We're not sure how we're going to do it yet, but we wanted to visit perhaps Montana, some northern areas of Washington. We thought about looking up in the Lake Chelan area. But here's the big thing, and I don't want to get too far off track here. If you're looking to buy land, it's not as difficult to find as you may think. You just have to get your hands dirty. And you can go into a city, and these days a lot of it's done online, but some of it still isn't. And you can go in and you can look at the city zoning and the planning and the areas. You can find the people who own the land. And there are several videos on YouTube about how to do this. So I'm not going to tell you how, at least not until I've done it myself, because, you know, it's not much good advice if I'm telling you how to get land and I don't have my own land. Part of my dream would be to have several people joining together on a piece of land, because I know it would make it more doable to have a commune type atmosphere. And in fact, You might call it even an intention community. A lot of these places, they call it an intention community because everyone there is supposed to work together towards in whatever your intention might be. A lot of these communities go south because there are members who don't want to partake, members who don't want to put in the effort. In other words, I'm a hippie at heart, but I'm a hippie who likes to do my share. And if I was with a group of people, I would definitely want to do my share. There are always people who want to take advantage. They just want to, use the system, if you will, and so that causes problems. And my point for bringing this up is because this is why it's so much simpler to do with a smaller group, like a family. I was a carpenter for a long time. I'm still a carpenter. I guess you never really lose those skills. And so my dream is to be able to go up and build my own cabin. And I'd love to be able to clear the land, use the resources. If a couple years from now I'm able to do this, I can't wait to be able to set up cameras and film the whole thing and turn it into a movie, if you will. And so many people do that, and I think I'm highly interested in watching people, turn land into livable space and living within the land. I'm very impressed with earth ships, people who, of course, earth ships as well as tiny homes and school buses, they all turn into kind of these trends, these fads that come and go. But then there are people who continue to live this way and for long periods of time. And it's not for everyone. And I don't know exactly how I would do out there for a long period of time. But if I had my family with me, there's nothing else I could possibly want. I could overlook going to concerts or having close food access, because to be able to get up in the morning and listen to the birds chirp, watch the sunrise, that's everything to me. And I don't feel like I fit into this society. I don't feel like I belong in this, what we've created, this system that we've created. And it's not for lack of trying, I definitely love to fit in and have the gusto to go, work hard, get my 401k and retire. That is not my style at all. And I'm not the 9 to 5, climb the ladder kind of person, and a lot of people aren't. And so in today's world, a lot more people are trying to escape. And at the same time, there's a realization you have to have first, that you cannot escape. You'll never get away from it. You still have to pay land use taxes. You'll still have to deal with people. You'll still have to deal with whether it be trespassers or the government wanting their taxes or trying to sell timber on the land to pay for it, whatever it might be. There's a lot of work involved in it. The thing is, I have no problem in doing the work if it's something I love. And I think a lot of us are that way. We all want to work hard towards things that we enjoy, but we feel like we're wasting our time often just living day to day just to impress a boss or to move forward another day. And so I'm hoping that this video in the future, I'll be able to look back on that and say, damn, I wanted to get that land and we got it. And here we are. And if I do, I'll definitely be sharing it with all of y'all. And you can come along with me on the journey. It'll be fun. I'm going to make it happen. Definitely got to make it happen, but I got to work hard towards it. And that's a tough thing, to make enough money to make it happen. And so I'll just work at it and see what we can do. Let me know what you all think. You want to live in a cabin in the woods? How would you fare out there? Time will tell. We'll see. Thanks for listening. One last note on this subject. The things that we value the most in life, the things that we really feel like we've accomplished, they all take work. They all take a lot of difficult work and focus. But at times they can seem unobtainable. When we start off on a new journey, it can seem daunting to try to obtain the skills we need and the talent we need, the understanding we need to make these things happen. Fortunately, I worked in building houses for several years. I know how to do foundations. I can do plates, walls, floors, ceilings, roofs, everything, drywall, you name it. For the average person, they may not have those skills. And that can be a very difficult thing for a person who's just starting out, because the cost of building can be exponential. But with a couple of books, and a little bit of elbow grease, there's nothing that can't be done by an individual. We don't have to self-teach. There are courses and classes and books about just everything today that you could possibly imagine. So my final note is just to say, if you're thinking you'd love to do something like that, but you don't have the skills, you can always work with somebody who does, or learn as you go. Or if you have millions of dollars to spare and no skills, then you can always pay for my cabin and I'll help you out. Thanks for watching. Talk to y'all later. Be well. And follow your passions when you can, when you're focused, when you're in that zone. It's the time when we've got to act. It comes and goes. It's a fleeting feeling. But if you've got the right intention in your heart, you can do anything. That's what I like to tell myself anyway.
Something to get rid of. It's an illusion, as I tried to explain. But you still want to ask how to stop the illusion. Now, who's asking? I mean, do you think, in the ordinary sense in which you use the word I, how can I stop identifying myself with the wrong me? Well, the answer is simply you can't.
Purpose channels.